Hey everybody, it's me, DeoGenZ, coming to you from Japan. That's Nihon or Nippon, depending upon if you know the language or not. Well, those are just the words in Japanese. Doesn't matter if you know or not, that's what it is. And today what it is, we have a box set from the TCG of Xerneas and Yveltal that I'm going to open up for you. So what do we get? Well, I guess you already get the clue that we're going to see some EX Pokemon. I've kind of been hinting that in some past videos. And actually recently I just got to go to the Pokemon Center in Sendai. So that was pretty great, and I'm going to make a video on that, of course. So we got our coin. So let's see. This looks like a poster? Thinking this is a poster of the box art. Yep, that's what it looks like to me. Awesome. Cool, because I'm planning on scrapping the box. I'm sure hardcore collectors that are more hardcore than me and say you need to keep everything in mint condition would be complaining at this point, but you know, hey. I've got what matters here. I've got the poster and whatnot here from Japan, so these look like really cool EX cards. Oh man, I have to make a video, but you're not going to see it until I'm well back established in the States, because there's so many different cards and I don't want to lose them. But I found a place called Book Off in Japan, and oh man, yep, this is the playmat for sure. It's so large. And essentially what Book Off is, it's a used anime, manga, figure store. So they have super cheap Pokemon figures and One Piece and Dragon Ball, and you know, most of the super mainstream. Okay, so this looks like a side for learning maybe how to play the game. So if you don't know, if you're a noob, that's really nice. They have that side. And of course they have, this desk is too small, the pro stats for when you actually get into the game and you know what you're doing. So you got your side, you got your spot for your deck. It's all great. So yeah, there's this used place, and you can get super cheap figures and super cheap Pokemon cards, like holographic awesome stuff for, you know, about $1. And trying to readjust this light better so you can see it. There we go. That's the card holders. I'll keep fingerprints on it. I'll keep those wrapped up for now because they're not any different from each other. This is the box that you get to put your deck within. Pretty good. Plastic based, nice and stable. And here is the, let me try and readjust. There we go. Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to do any videos if you can't see what's going on. So let's see what this deck is comprised of, because I couldn't read Japanese. Yanchima, another Pancham. This guy, which is the evolution of Pancham. I don't really know the 6th gen that well, I will be honest. I've faltered in my Pokemania. You know, I don't know all of, this is Malamar, but in Japanese we have Caramanero. Yeah, Caramanero. Okay, so not Malamar. Which is, it's cool to see. You know, I don't think I'll be able to play any games with these cards because my Japanese isn't that great. It's functional, you know, it's good for getting around on the trains, it's good for telling people in the restaurants that I can't eat meat because I'm a vegetarian. However, it's not going to really do me any good in playing Japanese card games. I did, however, at another place called Mangasoko. Japan is just full of these second-hand stores, which is super awesome if you're a traveling gaijin, which is the term for foreigner. There's also gaikokujin, which is another word for foreigner. If you're a foreigner like myself and you weren't here when all these things came out in Japan, it's really great to find these second-hand stores. In Mangasoko, one of my favorites, I did get some GoPro footage, and that'll be a separate video that appears on this channel. It's essentially otaku heaven. So if you like anime, manga, and you don't necessarily have to be an otaku, I'm just saying that if you like those things, you are just gonna, you actually might pass out from the amount of things that are in that store. And it's all secondhand, so it's all super cheap. And yeah, it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. But yeah, where I was going with that was that in the Mangasoko store, I found a Gundam Breaker game, Gundam Breaker 2 for the PS Vita, and that Hasn't even come out in the States. Probably won't come out in the States because Gundam is not as popular in the US than as it is here in Japan. So that was a great opportunity to get some games that I couldn't get a hold of otherwise, or would have had to pay some costly import fees to gain. And it was cheaper, of course, because secondhand store, so really nice. But for that game, it doesn't take a whole lot of reading. You can figure out the controls and bash your way through a bunch of gunpla. Gunpla, which is the term for the plastic kits that you get, the model kits that you get for Gundam, so you can piece them together bit by bit, and it's actually really cool. At first I thought they would be too complicated, you know, all the instructions are in Japanese and whatnot, but it's all done through pictures and numbers and letters, and not even using Japanese characters like, you know, we see here. That's e, ne, ru, gi. Energy, which is energy. Energy. Cool, I didn't know that before. But just to prove that I did learn Japanese before coming here. You know, not enough, like I said, to play the card game. But the moment you've been waiting for. Walla hala ha. This is really why you want to buy this box set. It comes with 4, count them, 4 legendary EX Pokemon cards, and they are pretty spectacular. Personally, I am more favoring Yveltal, just because it looks cooler, but definitely with these EX cards of Xerneas here, I'm reconsidering and thinking, you know what, Xerneas is pretty cool too. I didn't really care for the fairy type introduction. I sort of saw it as just a necessity to nerf dragons a little bit, make everything a little bit more balanced within metagame. But yeah, no, this is a really awesome card. I mean, this kind of reminds me of the Ancient Mew card in that Xerneas itself is all outlined in gold and its body takes up the entire card. Just super awesome artwork. And also really cool that they give you some card holders, protect some of the legendaries and other EX cards that I've gained already in Japan from booster packs. I don't know, maybe it's just Japan, I really don't know, but when I was in the States and I got booster packs, I never got EXs at such a high frequency. Now it seems like every other pack that I get in Japan has at least 1 EX in it, and it's really remarkable. So on top of getting EXs at a higher frequency, they're also much cheaper here in Japan. They're about $1.50 US, and so it's like 150 yen. It's not exactly $1.50, you know, because of conversion rates and whatnot, but yeah, so pretty freaking crazy. I love these cards. You know, I essentially collect these still just because of the artwork. I never really had any friends to play with. No, but no friends who are actually into the TCG, and it's funny, now that I'm studying abroad at Akita International University, I found one person who actually plays TCG, and yeah, maybe I could use this deck against him if I like thoroughly research what these cards do in advance, but I don't think I'm gonna have the time. I'm too busy exploring Japan to be playing any cards with people, and you know, like I said, these are all pretty much for collection purposes. Just looks so super badass. So that has been the box set of Yveltal and Xerneas, the 6th gen legendaries, and I am super psyched with this pack.